Ever scrolled through Facebook Marketplace and thought, what in the world am I looking at? Well, get ready because today we're diving into 101 of the most unbelievable, bizarre, and downright hilarious listings found on Facebook Marketplace across the US. Trust me, you won't believe what people are trying to sell. Let's jump in. 1. In Florida, someone tried selling a single-used flip-flop with the description, well-loved and looking for its forever home. Perfect for someone with 1 foot or anyone who lost their left flip-flop at the beach. I mean, sure, but the $15 price tag really made me wonder if it came with a hidden treasure map or something. 2. A Louisiana seller listed a taxidermy alligator posed like it was lounging at a pool party, complete with sunglasses, a tiny Hawaiian shirt, and a beer bottle in its claw. The ad claimed it would be the perfect conversation starter for your man cave or backyard BBQ. Honestly, they weren't wrong. I'd probably spend hours wondering why I bought it in the first place. 3. In Nevada, someone listed Moonlight subscriptions. For $5 a month, they'd text you every time there was a full moon, reminding you to go outside and howl responsibly. They even promised to include personalized lunar horoscopes like, tonight's moon says you should avoid impulse online shopping. Or don't. I'm not your mom. 4. Texas never disappoints. Someone there posted a half-eaten slice of pepperoni pizza with the caption, "Didn't like the toppings, but maybe you will. No returns." Part of me wants to believe this was a joke, but deep down, I know someone probably bought it just to say they did. 5. A seller in Wisconsin offered invisible cat leashes, perfect for people with imaginary feline friends or real cats that simply refuse to be seen. The ad added, no tangles, no scratches, no cat actually required. Bonus: if your invisible cat runs away, you'll never have to post missing flyers. 6. Over in Pennsylvania, someone crafted an entire medieval knight's armor out of aluminum foil and tried selling it for $75. The best part? The seller insisted it was battle-ready for all your LARPing needs. Sure, if your battle involves microwaving leftovers. 7. Over in Michigan, someone sold a single tortilla chip with a bite taken out, labeled Minimalist Nacho. The description promised it was perfect for those who love snacks but hate commitment, and assured buyers that the seller's regret from taking that first bite was included free of charge. 8. In Washington, a person offered mood rings for your houseplants, small plastic rings that changed color based on nothing. The ad said, they don't actually work, but your fern doesn't have to know that, adding that it was perfect for plant parents who need a little more drama in their living room. 9. In Georgia, someone offered a broken Wi-Fi router labeled as homemade Wi-Fi. Their logic? Just plug it in, and if your neighbor's Wi-Fi is strong enough, you might just get a signal. Not exactly what I'd call tech support, but points for creativity. 10. Tennessee's contribution was truly one of a kind. A potato that looked eerily like Elvis Presley. And the resemblance was actually impressive. A little pompadour-shaped sprout, a smirk-like dent, and even sideburns from dirt. The $100 price tag felt low for such a spud icon, but maybe the king of rock and roll deserves better than being turned into fries. 11. Chicago gave us a relic from 2020, a roll of toilet paper labeled as a pandemic collectible. The seller's pitch? Relive the unforgettable year with this vintage roll that survived the Great TP shortage. Imagine explaining that purchase to your grandkids one day. 12. A seller in Alabama offered custom voicemail greetings from my pet parrot. Reviews warned that the parrot mostly screamed, "Where's my cracker?" But one buyer claimed it tripled their callback rates, saying, "People are too curious or terrified not to leave a message." 13. A seller in Washington listed motivational cereal boxes. Empty cereal boxes with messages like, "You're us for reet, even without breakfast." One box even had "Crunch through your problems like a champ," scribbled in marker. Honestly, breakfast hasn't been this encouraging since childhood. What unusual item gives you emotional support? 14. Massachusetts had one of the most bizarre services, a person offering to yell custom motivational messages outside your window every morning. For $20 a week, you'd get a daily dose of encouragement or embarrassment, depending on how thin your walls are. 15. Alabama brought us a used mattress listed as may contain dreams. Not nightmares, not questionable stains, just dreams. It's oddly poetic, but also a solid reminder to always buy new mattresses. 16. Miami had someone selling a banana duct taped to a wall for $1,000. When asked why it was so expensive, the seller simply replied, "It's art." I guess if a banana taped to a gallery wall can sell for $120,000, this person thought they were giving us a bargain. 17. Kentucky made me do a double take with a gently used coffin, listed at $300. The description? Only used once, still in great condition. Excuse me? Who was using it before? And more importantly, where are they now? 18. Colorado had someone selling air guitars with detailed descriptions like rare model, plays smoothly, no strings attached. I mean, technically they're not wrong. And the best part? Each purchase came with a free air amplifier. 19. In Ohio, someone sold DIY confetti cannons that turned out to be just a toilet paper roll, a balloon, and a bag of hole punch clippings. The ad read, "Make any moment festive or slightly messy," and proudly noted, "Warning, your vacuum cleaner may never forgive you, but your party guests will." 20. In Michigan, a person listed personalized superhero origin stories, promising to craft an entire backstory for you, complete with superpowers, enemies, and a tragic past. One review said, "I never knew I needed radioactive spaghetti powers until now, but here we are," while another praised their villain's creativity. 21. In New Jersey, someone offered Netflix spoiler warnings. For $3, they'd text you exactly when to close your eyes during any TV show to avoid spoilers. Reviews said they were accurate. Most of the time, though one buyer complained, "They told me to close my eyes during the entire finale of Breaking Bad. I still don't know how it ends." 22. In Oregon, a seller posted custom passive-aggressive fridge magnets with gems like "Someone's not refilling the Brita" and "I guess leftovers do expire after all." They also offered personalized options like, "Yes, Karen, I noticed you stole my oat milk again." 23. In Portland, someone offered custom breakup excuses for $10. From "It's not you, it's your pet ferret" to "I need to focus on my career as a competitive napper." Reviews praised the creativity, though one said their partner actually agreed with the excuse. 24. Michigan's contribution was a single contact lens described as life-changing. The seller wrote, "Wearing this lens helped me see the world differently, mostly because I could actually see." Honestly, fair point. 25. Virginia had someone trying to sell a slightly used wedding dress with a brutally honest note, "Worn once. Bad luck included at no extra charge." Oof. I hope the dress finds a happier home the second time around. 26. In Florida, someone sold DIY beach kits, a Ziploc bag of sand and a seashell, with instructions to sprinkle sand on your floor, play wave sounds, and avoid the urge to check Instagram. One buyer joked, "It's almost like a real beach vacation minus the sunburn and overpriced cocktails." 27. North Carolina had one of my favorites, handcrafted dust bunnies. These weren't just dust clumps. They had tiny outfits and even backstories. One was named Sir Dustington III, who had survived under the bed for 3 years. Honestly, weirdly impressive. 28. Oregon came through again with a listing for homemade internet, 2 cans connected by a string. The ad claimed, "Perfect for budget-friendly communication. Wi-Fi not included." Honestly, it's not the worst backup plan. Which of these listings would you actually consider buying, and why? 29. Houston gave us a vintage iPhone charger from 2010, listed at $500. The seller argued it was a piece of tech history and an essential part of any Apple collector's shelf. Sure, because nothing says collector's item, like a frayed charging cable. 30. Utah's strangest item? Freshly harvested moonlight. Mason jars filled with air. The seller insisted each jar was left outside under the full moon for exactly 5 hours. I mean, it's free moonlight every night, but who am I to judge? 31. In Indiana, someone put up for sale a single tortilla chip shaped exactly like the state of Texas. And not just vaguely. It had that unmistakable Lone Star State outline, complete with a tiny bump where Houston would be. Priced at $50, the seller promised it was perfect for collectors, snack enthusiasts, or Texans feeling homesick. It sold almost immediately, proving that if it looks like Texas, someone in Texas will probably buy it, even if it's made of corn and salt. 32. Philadelphia brought us a service that no one asked for but somehow still existed. Handwritten tweets. For $1, the seller would write any tweet you wanted on a sticky note, snap a photo, and mail it to you. The ad read, "For those who miss the charm of handwritten notes but still love the chaos of social media." Honestly, it's ridiculous, but part of me kind of respects the effort. And hey, it's probably the only time your tweets will end up on someone's fridge. 33. Louisiana gave us a cursed toaster with a haunting sales pitch. Burns mysterious symbols into your toast every morning. Sometimes pentagrams, sometimes emojis, depends on the toaster's mood. The seller insisted it wasn't broken, just spiritually active, and even claimed the toast tasted better with a little demonic flair. Personally, I just want breakfast without summoning any ancient evils. But you do you. 34. In Montana, someone listed snowman repair kits. A Ziploc bag filled with carrots, pieces of coal, and a tiny scarf. The ad cheerfully stated, "For when your frosty friend needs a facelift after a warm day." Practical, sure. But the $20 price tag made me wonder if I'd be better off raiding my fridge and closet instead. 35. Nebraska offered limited edition plastic spoons from a popular fast food chain, claiming they were rare collector's items from the golden age of drive-thrus. Let's be real, they were just leftover spoons from takeout orders. But the seller insisted that in 50 years they'd be worth millions. Hey, if Beanie Babies taught us anything, it's that nostalgia sells. Sometimes. 36. Washington had a seller offering compliments on demand. For $5 a day, you'd receive a personalized compliment via text, like, "You have great taste in socks," or "Your smile could brighten the darkest Mondays." Would you actually pay for this personalized service? Is it worth the money? 37. A California listing promised a DIY pool that turned out to be an inflatable kiddie pool and a garden hose. The seller proudly described it as perfect for those hot summer days when you dream of a pool but live in a studio apartment. Technically, they weren't wrong, but I doubt your neighbors would appreciate you setting this up on the balcony. 38. In Florida, someone got creative with pet soap bubbles, a bottle of bubble solution labeled, "Each bubble is a new pet. Love them while they last." One buyer said, "My cat loved them more than I did." At least these pets don't shed or need food, right? 39. In Colorado, someone offered mystery socks. Single socks with no matches, promising they'd arrive with a mysterious past and no explanation, just like most of my exes. The seller added, "Perfect for people who've given up on finding true love or matching laundry." 40. Alaska had a listing for free snow, but there was a catch. You had to come pick it up yourself. The seller cheekily added, "Bring your own shovel and bucket. Unlimited supply available during winter." I mean, it's literally just outside. But hey, if you're in Arizona and craving snowball fights, maybe this is your big chance. 41. A seller in Texas offered emotional support traffic cones with a note saying, "Place me next to you when life feels like road work." Each cone had a hand-drawn smiley face for added comfort, and the seller joked that they won't judge you for hitting emotional potholes. 42. Ohio gave us celebrity chewed gum, supposedly spit out by a famous actor during a local film shoot. Suspiciously, the gum looked very ordinary, and the seller offered zero proof beyond the caption. Trust me, it's legit. Honestly, if you're buying pre-chewed gum from a stranger on Facebook, I admire your bravery, or question your life choices. 43. In Kansas, a seller offered sky pictures. Polaroid shots of the sky at random times of the day. Each photo came with a handwritten caption like, "Cloudy Tuesday, 4:17 p.m." or "Sunny but emotionally cloudy, 2:09 p.m." It's oddly poetic, but also, couldn't you just step outside and look up for free? 44. Pennsylvania had a listing for DIY pet dinosaurs, which turned out to be plastic dinosaur toy kits from the dollar store. The seller hyped it up with, "Bring Jurassic Park to your living room. No feeding required, just imagination." Honestly, they're not wrong, and it's probably safer than owning a real velociraptor. 45. Arizona gave us magic beans, regular beans covered in glitter. The ad read, "Plant these and watch your dreams grow." Disclaimer: dreams not guaranteed. I mean, if you're selling vegetables covered in craft supplies, at least give me a magic beanstalk. 46. Texas had someone listing a vintage air fryer, which was actually just an old toaster oven with a sticky note that said air fryer on it. The description: works just as well, minus the fancy buttons. Who needs technology when you have imagination? Honestly, this feels like the culinary version of homemade Wi-Fi. 47. Vermont offered a haunted painting that looked suspiciously like a bad DIY project. The seller insisted that the eyes followed you around the room, and that once it moved slightly during a thunderstorm. Do you think these haunted items are genuinely spooky, or is it just clever marketing? 48. Idaho had someone selling mystery snacks, a grab bag of random food items from their pantry. The listing warned, "Some items may be expired, but that's part of the thrill." No thanks. I prefer my snacks without the added mystery of food poisoning. 49. South Carolina gave us custom lullabies, sung by the seller and sent to you as voice notes. The ad promised, "Soothing tunes to help you sleep, even if my singing doesn't." Honestly, I'd pay just to hear how bad, or surprisingly good, it was. 50. In New York, someone posted hand-drawn Wi-Fi bars. Small doodles of Wi-Fi signals you could tape to your phone for emotional support when the real signal fails. The ad clarified, "This won't actually improve your internet, but it might improve your mood while you wait for Netflix to stop buffering." 51. In Wisconsin, someone put up a used scarecrow for sale. But here's the catch. It was just a pair of jeans and a flannel shirt stuffed with newspapers. The seller proudly stated, "Kept crows away for 3 whole seasons. Probably haunted now, though." Honestly, if a pair of old clothes can scare away birds and humans, maybe it's worth the 20. 52. A seller in North Dakota offered vintage ice, melted water from a 1995 snowstorm, carefully collected and stored in a mason jar. Their pitch? Own a piece of weather history before it evaporates. I have so many questions, starting with, who exactly is the target audience for old melted snow? 53. In Arkansas, someone tried selling a pet ghost. The listing included an empty glass jar with a label that read, "Casper's cousin." The seller claimed, "Invisible but friendly. Might knock over your cereal box occasionally." Honestly, for $10 it's cheaper than adopting a real pet, and no vet bills. 54. In Texas, a seller listed customized fortune cookies with fortunes like, "Your Wi-Fi password will never work the first time." And, "Today's the day you'll forget why you walked into a room." One buyer commented, "I got one that said, 'Your crush knows you exist, but wishes they didn't.'" Brutal, but honest. 55. In Maine, a listing for hand-knitted spaghetti popped up. And yes, it was exactly what it sounds like. Yarn shaped into spaghetti strands with little crocheted meatballs. The seller insisted it was perfect for pasta lovers with gluten intolerance. Honestly, this might be the safest bowl of spaghetti I've ever seen. 56. Kentucky offered a time capsule from 2020, a shoebox filled with face masks, hand sanitizer, a roll of toilet paper, and a note that read, "We survived." Part of me wants to laugh, but part of me also wants to buy it just to remember how weird that year was. 57. In Wyoming, someone tried selling couch crumbs collected over the years. The listing described them as a unique blend of snacks from movie nights, lazy Sundays, and accidental spills. I'm not sure what's worse, the idea of selling crumbs, or the fact that someone might actually buy them. 58. Oregon brought us homemade clouds. Basically cotton candy packed in clear plastic bags. The seller promised, tastes like heaven, looks like the sky, and disappears just as quickly. Honestly, if all clouds were this sweet, I'd never complain about the weather again. 59. In West Virginia, a person listed a DIY roller coaster kit, which turned out to be just a cardboard box, a toy car, and a hand-drawn instruction sheet that said, "Use your imagination." At least they were upfront about it, but I doubt Six Flags is feeling threatened. 60. Massachusetts gave us a gently used crystal ball, with the disclaimer, sometimes accurate, sometimes just shows Netflix recommendations. If my future is endless binge-watching, maybe I don't need a crystal ball to tell me that. 61. Someone in Iowa listed celebrity leaves, random leaves from their backyard, each labeled with names like Leonardo DiCaprio's maple and Taylor Swift's oak. The seller claimed, celebrities breathe air, and these leaves use that same air. So technically, these leaves are famous. A stretch? Definitely. But weirdly clever. 62. A seller in Florida offered rental imaginary friends with descriptions like, Steve loves long walks and hates pineapple pizza. They even included a free backstory for Steve, who once won an imaginary arm wrestling contest against Bigfoot, making him perfect for awkward situations or making someone jealous of your new best friend. 63. In Alabama, someone tried selling customized conspiracy theories. You'd pay $15, fill out a questionnaire, and receive a personalized conspiracy theory involving you, aliens, and possibly your neighbor's cat. Honestly, this sounds like the most entertaining $15 you could ever spend. 64. New Mexico had a listing for sandcastles in a jar. Tiny sand sculptures sealed in glass jars, with a note that read, guaranteed not to collapse, unless you drop the jar. Practical, portable, and slightly depressing if you think about it too hard. 65. In California, someone sold motivational coffee cup sleeves, each with messages like, you've survived 100% of your Mondays so far, and caffeine, because punching people is frowned upon. Another sleeve simply read, if Britney survived 2007, you can survive this workday. 66. Florida brought us DIY social distancing sticks. Pool noodles attached to a headband, so you'd always maintain 6 feet of space. The ad read, stay safe, stay stylish, and poke anyone who gets too close. Honestly, tempting. 67. In Missouri, someone offered celebrity bathwater that was clearly just tap water in mason jars. The seller justified it with, celebrities use water. This is also water. Coincidence? I think not. I admire the hustle, but no thanks. If you've seen something even stranger than this, definitely tell me about it in the comments. 68. In Florida, someone offered emotional support rubber bands, a pack of colorful bands labeled, for when you're about to snap, stretch me instead. The seller added, flexible like your emotions. Honestly, it's cheaper than therapy and won't judge your life choices. 69. In Oklahoma, someone sold mystery smells in a can. The ad warned, could be lavender, could be gym socks. Life's an adventure. That's one adventure I'll pass on, thanks. 70. And finally, in New Jersey, a seller offered custom-made-up facts about you. For $10, they'd create an entire backstory about you being a secret agent, a pirate, or the inventor of something ridiculous. Honestly, this might be the perfect icebreaker at parties. 71. In North Carolina, someone listed a slightly used invisibility cloak for $50. The ad claimed, it worked perfectly until I lost it, selling the idea of it since I can't find the actual cloak. Honestly, I respect the creativity, and hey, maybe it's invisible in the marketplace listing too. 72. Over in Montana, a seller offered emotional support bubble wrap, promising infinite popping satisfaction for when life gets too stressful. They even added, if the bubbles run out, I'll send a free refill. Imagine the dedication, or the sound of your roommates losing their minds. 73. In Colorado, someone tried selling authentic tumbleweeds, each accompanied by a certificate of authenticity that looked suspiciously like it was made in Microsoft Word. The seller argued, "It's a piece of the Wild West for your living room." Honestly, if I wanted a ball of dried grass, I'd just stop mowing my lawn. 74. Arkansas gave us slightly haunted headphones. The description: occasionally plays static or creepy whispers at random times. Great for horror fans. Or, it might just be broken. But hey, haunted merch sells. 75. In Minnesota, a person offered custom breakup playlists for $5. You'd share your heartbreak story, and they'd create a Spotify playlist filled with sad songs, angry anthems, and oddly specific Taylor Swift deep cuts. Honestly, that's better than most of my friends have ever done for me. 76. Hawaii had someone selling ocean sounds in a jar. Basically a seashell glued to a mason jar. The ad claimed, "Close your eyes and listen. It's almost like being there." Or you could just YouTube ocean sounds. But sure. 77. In Georgia, someone posted a time travel starter kit, which turned out to be an old alarm clock, a pair of goggles, and a note that read, "Step 1, believe." Honestly, that's more inspiring than most self-help books. 78. Michigan had a listing for handcrafted soap shaped like random objects, including a soap remote control, a soap cheeseburger, and, weirdly, a soap slice of pizza. The seller promised, "So realistic, you'll forget it's soap until you taste it." Please don't taste it. 79. In Louisiana, someone tried selling DIY tattoos, which was just a Sharpie and a packet of Band-Aids. The ad helpfully suggested, draw whatever you want, cover it with a Band-Aid, and bam, temporary tattoo. Honestly, it's both clever and mildly concerning. 80. Pennsylvania gave us celebrity dust, which was basically dust collected from random places labeled with names like Hollywood Sidewalk or Broadway Theater Seat. Proof? None. But for $10, you too could own dust that may or may not have been near a famous person's shoe. 81. In California, a seller offered customized conspiracy playlists, a collection of YouTube videos and podcasts tailored to your favorite topics from aliens to lizard people. The ad read, "Perfect for when you're bored or feel like questioning reality." Honestly, that sounds like a wild Friday night. 82. In Texas, someone posted an ad for emotional support forks, each with a tiny smiley face carefully drawn on the handle. The description proudly stated, "Because sometimes life's problems feel too big to handle alone. Let this fork be your companion as you eat your feelings away, one bite at a time." The seller even offered customization, promising to add names, motivational quotes, or tiny doodles upon request. Honestly, the idea of a happy little fork cheering me on while I devour an entire pint of ice cream after a bad day sounds weirdly comforting. Would you buy one? Or do you prefer your cutlery emotionless? 83. In Washington, someone decided that pet rocks weren't enough. They offered a pet rock upgrade service. For 15 days, you could mail in your plain, boring rock, and they'd send it back with googly eyes, a tiny hat, or even a custom mini outfit tailored to your rock's personality. The ad read, "Every rock deserves to be a star." One example showed a rock dressed as a cowboy, complete with a lasso made of string. Imagine explaining to the post office why you're shipping a rock across the country. Would you trust someone to give your rock a glow-up? 84. Nevada's contribution to the weirdness was mystery fortune cookies. But these weren't your typical, "you will find happiness soon" kind of fortunes. The seller hand-wrote each fortune, with gems like, "Avoid eye contact with ducks named Steve," and "In your next Zoom meeting, pretend to freeze for 5 minutes just to see what happens." One reviewer claimed they got the fortune, "Someone is watching you eat this cookie," which made them immediately close the curtains. Would you take the risk, or is the unpredictability just too much? 85. In New York, someone offered custom bedtime stories for adults, advertising it as the perfect way to drift off into dreamland while escaping reality. For $20, they'd write and record a personalized story where you're the hero, whether that meant winning the lottery, owning a private island, or finally figuring out how to file your taxes without crying. One customer review said, I fell asleep to the sound of me becoming president and banning Monday mornings. Best $20 I've ever spent. Honestly, I'd probably pay just to hear a story where I don't hit snooze 5 times every morning. 86. Florida, never one to be outdone, had someone selling DIY spa experiences that consisted of a small bag of Epsom salt, a scented tea light candle, and a YouTube link to relaxing ocean sounds. The seller pitched it as, why spend $300 at a fancy spa when you can have the same luxury in your bathroom for $10? Sure, it's not quite a 5-star resort, but in this economy, lighting a $0.50 candle and soaking your feet in a bucket while pretending you're in Bali might be the closest we get. 87. Illinois brought us pet mosquito farms, which were literally tiny glass jars with holes poked in the lids, containing live mosquitoes. The seller's pitch? Perfect for those who miss the sounds of summer nights or need an excuse to keep scratching their legs in winter. They even added, warning, not responsible for any bites or sleepless nights. Honestly, who voluntarily buys mosquitoes? That's like paying for a headache. But hey, maybe someone missed the thrill of swatting bugs all night. 88. In Oregon, a person offered custom prank ideas for $10. You'd send them details about your target, and they'd design a personalized prank, complete with step-by-step instructions. One example from a review said, they gave me the idea to fill my roommate's shampoo bottle with blue food coloring. He had blue hair for a week, worth every penny. I don't know about you, but paying someone to help me annoy my friends sounds like money well spent. 89. South Dakota gave us one of the strangest yet funniest listings, celebrity eye contact. The seller posted blurry, mid-blink photos of celebrities like Leonardo DiCaprio, Beyoncé, and The Rock, with the caption, they're totally looking at you. For $5, they'd send you a digital copy with your name added, making it look like the celebrity was giving you that awkward stare. Imagine printing that out and hanging it above your bed. Creepy? Maybe. Hilarious? Definitely. 90. Tennessee brought us emotional support Band-Aids, with each Band-Aid featuring handwritten messages like, you got this, and tough times don't last, but tough people do. The seller promised they were perfect for both physical and emotional boo-boos. One customer review read, I scraped my knee, and the Band-Aid told me I was a warrior. I'm keeping it forever. Honestly, when life knocks you down, maybe all you need is a Band-Aid that believes in you more than you believe in yourself. 91. In Arizona, someone listed a jar of darkness, an empty mason jar sealed tightly with duct tape. The seller insisted, I captured the purest darkness from my closet at midnight. Open at your own risk. They even added a disclaimer. Not responsible for any curses, existential crises, or sudden fears of the unknown. Honestly, paying $15 for a jar of literal nothingness sounds absurd. But now I'm kinda curious. Would you open it or leave it sealed forever? 92. In Vermont, a seller offered personalized awkward silences. For $5, they would schedule a phone call with you, say hello, and then sit in complete silence for as long as you wanted. The ad promised, perfect for introverts who want company but not conversation. One reviewer joked, it was the most comfortable silence I've ever paid for. Honestly, with the way small talk drains me, I might just book one for myself. 93. A Massachusetts seller posted an ad for rejected Hallmark movie scripts, claiming, these are stories too ridiculous even for Hallmark's holiday lineup. Titles included Christmas at the Waffle House and The Ghost Who Stole Valentine's Day. I don't know about you, but I'd totally watch Christmas at the Waffle House. Somebody get Netflix on the line. If you had to pick one of these items to receive as a gift, which would it be, and who would you give it to? 94. In Oklahoma, someone sold homegrown lint, carefully collected from their dryer over the past 3 years. The ad read, soft, colorful, and ready for crafting, stuffing, or just confusing your friends. They even offered a premium version, lint with mystery items hidden inside, like buttons or tiny toy parts. I have so many questions, but mostly, why? 95. In Indiana, a person tried selling customized sneezes. For $3, they'd record themselves sneezing your name. The ad boasted, because nothing says I care like a personalized HU. One buyer wrote, "Hearing someone sneeze my name was oddly comforting. 1010 would buy again. I didn't know this was something I needed, until now." 96. In Mississippi, a seller offered invisible pet collars for $10 each. The ad claimed, "Perfect for all your invisible pets. Adjustable size, zero maintenance." It's genius when you think about it. No product, no shipping costs, and yet people still bought them. Who knew imaginary pets were such a booming business? 97. A New Mexico listing featured DIY time capsules, which were just empty shoeboxes with instructions like, "Put stuff inside, bury it, dig it up later." The seller even added, "For an extra $5, I'll write, 'Do not open until 2040 us' on the lid in fancy handwriting." Honestly, if you're too lazy to find your own box, maybe this is the motivation you need. 98. In Alaska, someone sold handcrafted snowflakes made out of paper, but labeled as Alaskan Originals. Each snowflake came with a certificate stating, "No two are alike, just like the real thing." The kicker? They charged $20 for each one because, as the ad said, snow is free, but my creativity isn't. 99. In Michigan, a seller offered customized inspirational hold music. For $15, they'd record a 2-minute hold message with motivational quotes like, "You're doing great," and "Your time matters," mixed with elevator music. One reviewer said, "I call my own number just to put myself on hold and hear it." It's weirdly uplifting. Honestly, in a world full of soul-crushing hold music, this sounds like a breath of fresh air. 100. In Louisiana, someone tried selling second-hand wishes, explaining, "These are wishes I made on stars, but I don't need them anymore. Selling them so someone else can make them come true." The ad promised, no refunds if the wish doesn't come true, but hey, at least you tried. Imagine buying someone else's wish. What would you wish for? 101. And finally, the most unbelievable listing of all, found in California. Someone tried selling the concept of nothing. The post simply said, "For $20, you'll receive absolutely nothing. No product, no service, just the knowledge that you paid for nothing." The most shocking part? They had over 100 sales. One buyer even left a review saying, "Best $20 I've ever spent. Truly life-changing." And that, my friends, is the peak of Facebook Marketplace, where even nothing can be sold for something. That's all 101. Which listing blew your mind the most? Or have you seen something even crazier on Facebook Marketplace? Drop a comment below and let's talk about the wild, weird world of online selling.